Hello, everyone. We're starting to get people in. I gotta change my name. Welcome, everybody, to the Deal Machine webinar. Today, we have some pretty awesome people here. We have some co-preneurs here with us. Brian and Michelle Austin, you may have seen them here before, but before we start, let's get the chat rolling. You guys tell us where you're from. Brian and Michelle, why don't you guys start us off with where you're located and we'll go around.
All right, so we're located here in Central North Carolina, kind of halfway point in between Raleigh and Charlotte. Michelle's been pretty local most of her life, and originally just from the South. Moved here from Hawaii several years back.
Came here to find me.
Yeah, building a pretty good life together. You know what I mean?
I love it. And then Dakota and I are in Indianapolis, Indiana. If anybody's here, we got some New York. Oh, Zionsville, Indiana. There we go. That's close. Actually, it's closer to Dakota. Washington, D.C., Denver, Texas. Love it.
Oh, nice.
Colorado. New Bern. All right.
Carolina. Georgia.
Yeah, cool, man. We got a good group on.
Yeah, we do.
All over.
Guys, please feel free. This is obviously a time where you guys are going to hear, this is the structure of the webinar. We're going to hear from Brian and Michelle, give you a little bit of their background and what they do in real estate investing and also how they started. And I love their story. I love it just because I've seen it since they started with DealMachine, and it's amazing. They're great human beings.
Thank you,
and that's what I love about this app is because it's brought us all together. I do want to note that we will be having some things throughout the webinar in the chat. AJ, our man over here that you probably have heard from before, is going to help out in the chat. And then Dakota will be bringing people up. That'll be the last 45 minutes of the webinar. Is basically, guys, start writing those questions in the chat. Dakota's going to be taking notes for them, and we'll be bringing you guys up. If we have a lot, we'll end up doing a rapid fire round, so that way we make sure that everyone's questions can be answered. AJ is going to also be putting some free reference material that we have, an ebook, calling scripts, things like that in the chat that you guys can have for absolutely free, as well as free trials if you've been thinking about DealMachine. So I'm going to shut up now and just say, hey, Michelle and Brian, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about how you started in real estate and what that journey has looked like for you to where you're at now?
Wow.
Well, I actually started in real estate 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. I got laid off from my previous job and got a real estate license. And then I met Brian, and he had always dreamed of doing real estate, but in a different aspect. And so he taught me the term wholesaling and talking about flipping and just investing in properties, not just helping other people buy and sell properties. So I think that's how it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, So I think it was about maybe 19 when I bought my first house. And I mean, big long story about how we got there. That could be a whole nother webinar, right? But I didn't really have any mentors coming out of my pop's side when I was 16. My mom, God bless her, was around, but I didn't really want her there, I guess. I was just kind of out doing my own thing, rebelling and things like this, So anyway, I started a business. I met this real estate agent down in Florida. Her boyfriend kind of mentored me a little bit, and he handed me this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, geez. Can please tell us in the chat if you've ever heard of this book?
Yeah, right. Look, if you haven't, you need to read it.
It's a great read.
It'll change your life.
We bought it for our kids even.
So, anyway,
we have a team version.
I always kind of was interested in real estate, but I didn't really, kind of have the means to get there and everything. And then, life goes on. I ended up joining the military about 27, all the dreams of real estate investing, but I didn't have the skills and abilities to do that. So later on in life, now I learn about like wholesaling and things like this. And so our objective, like the way that we actually started, just to get to the short and quick of it, is, we didn't have the capital. Like we had nothing. We both went through like a really horrible divorce. you know, we kind of walked away clean because we just wanted to be left alone. We didn't want to be with abusive partners. We didn't want negative people in our lives, and so we decided to walk away from that, which we ended up finding each other. But yeah, I mean, I think when we first got together, I was living in a pop-up camper with 2 kids. I mean, like
I
that's
was living with my
that's
parents.
that's how much money we didn't have. I mean,
Yeah.
so I wanted to get into real estate. So I knew from age 18 that was where it was at. That's where I was going to take my money and put it so that it could work for me, so that I didn't have to work for the rest of my life. Because my dad worked till the day that he died. The day that he died, you know, that wasn't going to be me. So yeah, so we started wholesaling. We ended up meeting some friends. I think you guys have heard us talk about them before, Dustin and Hannah. They're kind of out here in North Carolina as well. Dustin's business, D.L. Hoffman Homes, great folks. We saw them with an ad online. We drove over there and we're like, hey man, like, is this real? Like, or is this bullshit? You know? Well, it was real, man. You know, so they held our hand and showed us the ropes. Next thing I know, I'm on the phone with Josh Johnson. And he's like, hey, dude, DealMachine. I'm like, yeah, man, I saw your podcast. What's going on? You know?
And then we went in.
Yeah, and then, you know, we signed up. So, you know, I can't remember all of the little details in between, but it was like,
Seems like so long ago.
at first we were, you know, licking stamps and literally writing handwritten letters to people saying, hey, please sell us your house. You know? And I was like, no, don't bother me. You know what I mean? But anyway, it was like, I mean, really, like at night, our hands would cramp because it'd be like, all right, baby, you take this 20, I'll take this 20. Okay, you take this 20, I'll take this 20. But literally started with nothing, you know, and then DealMachine was able to help us scale. So we, you know, we bought in, and when we bought in, I mean, we really bought in.
Well, we had our first success call, like 3 months after you guys started? It wasn't that long, and you guys had made, and now I can't even remember because you guys have blown that out of the water, but you guys made a substantial amount of money in 3 months.
First few months.
Yeah, I think a month after our mailers went out. So we've been really blessed now, guys. Like, you know, we're not, please understand that we're not bragging, but we do want to impose upon you that, like, if we can do this, right? Like, you can do this. Like, literally anybody can do this.
That's the whole point.
So, you know, please don't like take us as we're bragging, but yeah, man. So like our first month, I don't know, 6 months of handwriting letters, nothing. Shit, you know, excuse the language as well, guys. I'm
a sailor.
You know, like you know, sometimes I guess like a sailor, it is contagious. Please stand 6 feet away. So, but anyway, we got DealMachine. We went out driving for dollars. I mean, we were just adding houses. Bop. I didn't care if it was owner occupied. I didn't care if it was corporate owned. I mean, we added them.
Just added it.
Our first property was a owner-occupied property, and we made $18,000 on that deal. That's our first month, right? A week later, we did another wholesale deal on a duplex, 10 grand.
I think it was.
Right, so what's that, 30 grand the first month? We were like, oh my God.
That's when we decided, okay, this really works. You know, really works. We got to get this going because, I mean, the profit is, and you know, there's no limit. So it just keeps going.
Yeah. So, you know, that has been very successful for us. We've been able to solve a lot of problems that way, you know, and we've been able to
help people.
Yeah,
that's the main goal of our business is to help people.
We literally have, you know, like there's a couple of neighborhoods we got to improve in those things, but now we've got the capital to invest. So it's like we've met the right people. We've got good people on our team. We have a very good hard money lender. Matter of fact, we've got some people that have some money, and we're trying to, their family or friends or whatever the case is,
trying to help them grow theirs.
We're trying to teach them how to do hard money lending, right? Because like at this point, we don't need their money, but I want them to learn how to make their money work for them so that they can spend more time with us later on when we're on vacation, or more time with my nieces and my nephews, or whatever the case may be. So we've kind of started to realize like how big this thing is and how much what we do echoes throughout. So, you know, like you mentioned, you know, helping out, you know, the houses and the people. So imagine this for a second, guys. So go with me here. I'm gonna hijack this thing for a second. So we've got a couple of neighborhoods that we really went into a lot, right? And so now we're at this point in our business that that we try to keep as much as we can. We wholesale things that we don't think that we can do, or maybe it suits somebody else's business plan better. So now it's not just, and you guys have this like DealMachine tools you can use to do this, right? So it doesn't have to be used specifically to wholesale. I mean, heck, you could be selling windows using this thing. Seriously, like it's just that good. Like it's malleable. You can change it, and make it what you need it to be. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we've went from just wholesaling to now, dude, we bought 11 rental properties last week. 11 properties.
That's what I was like waiting for, because I'm waiting for like, okay, yeah, you're talking about wholesaling, but like now you don't wholesale, you're doing like everything.
Dude,
we still wholesale, but only to get more working capital to build our working capital to buy the investment properties to flip.
So remind me, don't let me get off of the subject, Elise. I want to talk about. No. I'm asking you to remind me and you to remind me, because y'all know I got ADD, man. I get excited. I'm down the road. But I want to talk a little bit about creating wealth, and that really kind of goes back to your first question. Anyway, sorry, ADD guys.
You're good. You're good.
So these two neighborhoods in particular, right? Both located in Central North Carolina. One's a little bit more like westerly here. And I apologize for not using specific city names, but I did that on a podcast before. And the next thing you know, I got 30 wannabe wholesalers on Facebook trying to sell our homes on their Facebook page, or or sending letters and just offering astronomical. I mean, like literally, like we had a wholesaler offer somebody in our hometown like 200 grand for a house that was barely worth 45 grand, right? Because Zillow told them it was going to be worth 260, and they figured, okay, well, I'll get it under contract and I'll sell it to them. Like, dude, like pay attention, like do the research, you know what I mean? Like, don't be lazy. So for everybody listening, if you're going to get into this business, then do it right and do it for the right reasons. Okay, please, because like there are a lot of people out there, like giving folks like us that mean to do well, a bad name, and people like you, because I imagine that most of you want to get where we are, or at least where we're going. So these two neighborhoods, one of them in particular, we bought about 20 houses in that neighborhood. We didn't wholesale, but we literally gave some of those properties to another investor friend of ours. One, because he's been there with us since the beginning. Okay. Two, but because I don't have the time or the finances to do the work on all of those properties at one time, and I want that whole area to come up together. So here's what's happened, right? So property values up there come up from, I don't know, mid 60s, high 70s at best, to like 150K. All right, now imagine the ramification from this, right? So we basically took these two neighborhoods, we improved property values, right? That means we're fixing all of the problems. Like the crackheads are moving out. The children and the people with families are moving in now. Taxes are increasing, which means the school down the road gets more money, which means better education, better food, better sustenance for our children, right? So, I mean, we're not talking about just like, hey, we made a couple of bucks. We're not talking about like, hey, I made some cash flow, which we did, which is great. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's all about. But it's like, we improved a community. We improved lifestyle for an entire generation of people
to help their lives be better.
You are truly going with the mission of helping others, and I feel like that is a trend of people who are in this industry and do that with a true heart. Like, this is what happens. They like, look at these two, they're just too dang cute. I remember the first webinar I did and I was like, gosh dang it, these two are cute. Awesome. I wanted to get to where you are right now really quickly. Could you wrap up? Like, I know I don't want to give it away because you told me last time, but like, what projects are you working on? What does your portfolio look like right now?
Okay, so currently, I think we've got, gosh, I don't even know how many properties we've got inventory right now. Like, I'm so scared.
Understand, we both ended up with COVID back in August. And still have the remnants of COVID brain. So it's like our thoughts, sometimes we get a little, just absent-minded, not meaning to, but we forget some of the things that we were trying to think of or say in the moment. And I know that happened to me even before I got COVID, but since COVID, it seems like it's been worse. So
Yeah, seriously, like it kicked our butts pretty good, man. Like
We were down for about 2-3 months, really.
yeah,
Jeez.
we thought we were gonna lose Michelle. Like, I mean,
But God had a bigger plan, so we came back even stronger.
yeah, it makes you really appreciate,
Very thankful.
you know, the most valuable currency that we actually do have, and it's
That's
you know,
our
that's
time.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
Nope. I agree.
So to answer your question, I think we've got, I think we own about 26 or 27 properties total.
Mhm.
We're flipping 4, so we have literally 4 flips going
Projects
on
going
right now.
These are questions people, if you want to ask about flips, I would ask them right now because they have 4 going on at the same time.
Man, so
It is
well, and the thing is too,
stressful, but it's
yeah,
good
but-
stress.
yeah. So it's, you know, we're using the money from the flips to 1031 and buy rental properties. So we were talking about creating wealth. So imagine this, right? So we took $0, okay, and then we got a few bucks. We got a marketing team, which was very inexpensive but very effective.
Mhm.
And then we turned that into real cash, and then we turned real cash into property ownership. And then we flip those, and then we take that, like 1031 it, so we're not paying a ton of taxes. We're buying rental properties with that, and then 6 months after those properties are seasoned, we're refinancing those, otherwise known as the BRRRR strategy, right? And then now we're making 80 grand off of that house completely 100% tax free, plus it's cash flowing. That's creating wealth. I mean, that's just making money out of thin air.
I said y'all were doing everything. I didn't even know that you were burring too. So that just
Let's just bring from the beginning to do the BRRRR. Ever since he heard that term, he's been talking about, oh, we got to BRRRR a property. We got to BRRRR a property. And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? BRRRR a property.
Well, because the first thing you hear, you think like, ooh, burr. And I'm like, David said that to me. The first time he said that, he goes, oh, I'm burring this property. And I'm just like, is it cold? Like, I don't understand. What do you mean? So this makes so much sense. That's awesome, guys. I want to get to the Q&A really quick. Dakota, do you have some awesome questions lined up again?
Yes.
There's a ton of good questions there, but I can't read from this.
Yeah, I'd have to take my glasses.
That's all right. That's why we're here. We got you.
Okay.
I'll try not to get stuck on a tangent, guys.
That's why we make such a good team.
Michelle's like the wrapping up of things, like, hun, yes.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we got Mario. What's up, Mario?
Hey, Mario.
Hello.
Loving that 5 o'clock shadow, bro.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to, Brian and Michelle, congratulations, and God bless you and your health.
Thank you.
A lot of people, a lot of people we've lost, definitely.
Yeah.
So good to see you guys, and it's always going to be taking day by day as far as your health, but God knows all and heals all. So
Yes,
I'm so happy for you both. My question truly was, I'm newly married. My wife and I,
Congratulations.
thank you. We're committing fully into real estate investing. I jumped in with COVID into a company and learned some of the process procedures, did disposition first. So now I'm learning the acquisitions part. That's why I left that company. They didn't allow me to do acquisitions, which was fault on them, but now we're on our own. And so just wanted to see where do you play your strengths, Brian? And then Michelle, do you know where you can help him, support him? That's where we're at, kind of more of the action.
Okay. So I think I understand the nature of the question. So it sounds like you've got some experience. You work for somebody else to get that experience, and now you and your wife are trying to start a business together, and you're trying to figure out what parts you both play in the business. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
Accurate. Yes.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So that's a real thing, dude. Congratulations. You got one of the problems that you prayed for.
Exactly.
Okay. So, and here's what I mean by that. Like, we totally had to do the same thing,
Exactly.
right? Like, because at first it was like, well, I assumed you did it. Well, I assumed you did it. And so,
And nobody did it.
right.
And then it falls through the cracks. So.
Absolutely. So we really had to sit down. We had to have a heart to heart and say, these are the things, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, and put it two together so that we had a strong team, you know. So I won't exactly tell you what each of us is doing, because honestly, that doesn't matter. What matters is that now we run like a very finely tuned machine, at least with our part of the business.
Well, I think he does want to know sort of more specific what you handle and what I handle. So Brian is the talker, as y'all can tell. I like to talk too, but he is very good at listening to people and determining what they need and what their goal is whenever they're trying to sell a property and we're trying to buy the property. So he is a good closer in getting the deal set. And then I'm the one who, because I think of my real estate background, I'm used to making appointments with attorneys and following up with clients and setting things. So, you know, I would say I'm probably one that handles more of the bookkeeping, and he does more of the meeting with clients.
Absolutely. So
if that answers.
Yeah, we really had to identify our strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
And I would say that probably my biggest strength is that I know when I'm in over my head, and I know when I don't know something, right? So I'm smart enough to understand that I can't do that, or there's somebody out there that can do it better.
So don't be afraid to ask,
Yep,
you know, and work together. Because I mean, if you're a team, you're going to work together as a, you know, be malleable and compromise, you know, with each other, and just kind of, you know, always support one another.
Yeah, but fear not, dude. Like all of that is going, you're going to figure it out along the way. Just don't quit. You got this. You can do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, brother.
Congrats again, Mario.
Thank you.
Man, like it's so cool when you're able to walk away from your job, and like, I mean, I walked away from the military in a year and a half. Like we were able to walk away from my W-2. Like how crazy is that, man? It's just nuts.
And I get to still do what I love with real estate and still be a part of our business. So, because I'm not giving up a real estate license, I worked too hard to get it. And I love doing it. So, you know, it's a win-win, you know, because my strengths, what I have learned in real estate, have really helped us as, you know, entrepreneurs and getting where we are. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think the things that I learned in the military really helped us out in our business as well. You know, especially with communicating with people and trying to connect the dots and fix the problems. But man, it is awesome not getting up at 6:30 and saying, honey, gotta go put on my uniform.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that is very pleasant. Also, Brian, I didn't get to tell you, and I know I've said this, but thank you again for your service.
Oh man, it was, you know, it was a job, did cool things. Thank you so much for the support. Seriously, like if we got other vets out there, thanks for what you guys do.
yes,
but like,
thank you.
It ain't about that, man. Like,
and your family, your spouse and your family. It's the sacrifice of everybody. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Tony, what's up?
Tony.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey, good. So my question is, now we're neighbors. I live up in Eden, and I know you guys are down in Asheboro.
Yep.
When you're looking for a target market for a house, do you have a target range, or are you just throwing out everything? And if a house is 10,000 or 200,000, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So are you asking, like, how do we determine whether or not we feel like it would be a good investment?
Well, actually, if you're looking at a house, and of course, if you look at a $150,000 house, you can find a spread there. What I'm doing up here, Eden's a little smaller, kind of like Asheboro, I guess, like that.
Very familiar with Eden. We've done some marketing up there. We've actually thought about buying some properties up there.
Well, I've sold some properties on the real estate side in Eden, so.
And you know, I mean, from the houses up here, a lot of the mill houses, they're really low priced. You're looking at
we find that all over Central North Carolina. Okay, so I think the question then is, you know, do we specifically have a target market, or and if so, how did we figure that out? Is that about right?
a target price. Is there too low of a price that you won't touch it?
There is no target price, none.
Okay.
At least there never has been for us, and I think that's probably primarily my decision, because I definitely took us to some neighborhoods that, you know, maybe Michelle didn't want to go at first, but And here's the reason why, man, is because like, it's kind of like you said, there's always a point spread. Okay. We buy a lot of $20,000, $30,000 houses. We buy a lot of them. But if we can help somebody out of a 150 problem, $1,000 problem house, that's so that's one of the really unique things about DealMachine that we all get, that nobody else gets, right? Is we drive for dollars, man. Like we go out, we look at it. I'm not buying a list from some dude who does work out of Arkansas or Nevada that's got no idea who I am, no idea who my wife is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can call Elise, right? I mean, I can call Nate, I can call Dakota, I can call Joy, whoever I need, I can get them on the phone right now. I can say, hey, Josh, dude, having a problem, need your help. Okay. So that's neat. Okay. And it I'm sure one day, like, that's not going to be the same way for everybody. But what is great is I can drive through a neighborhood and I can say, that house looks like shit. I want to buy it.
And he literally does that, even on vacation.
Yeah.
But now we do have a system. Brian is really good at figuring out, what our cost, what our initial offer should be. And if the cost to repair is going to be substantial and we don't end up seeing that we can turn a certain minimum amount of profit, then we will walk away. We won't actually make an offer, or we'll let the seller know, they contact us and say, yeah, I want to sell my house. And they tell us kind of what they're looking for, but we've ran the numbers. We go out and take a look at the property and we see that it needs a lot more work than what we thought it did just looking at it driving by. Then we will honestly tell them, look, there's just more than what we're equipped or ready to tackle at this point. So we're not going to be making you a fair offer.
Which is basically a nice way of saying you're asking way too much for your property that looks like
you just have to use the right terminology.
But
we always leave it open for them to know that if their circumstances change and they can, afford to come off of their price to make it feasible, then we would be willing to go back and revisit, purchasing that property and helping them, get rid of that problem and fixing the house. But we do have a certain price point that we say, okay, this is what we need to net. This is what.
I think it means like $50,000 neighborhood, $100,000.
I gotcha.
Like, it's not really ever been a thing for us. I'll give you one piece of advice, Tony. Have you been doing this for long?
5 months.
Okay, perfect. Have you done any deals yet?
2 deals.
Okay,
Awesome.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
dude. That's huge. You need to be doing one of these. People need to hear your story, right?
That's right.
So, did you already know who your buyer was going to be before you started looking for the seller?
No.
Okay. So my suggestion then is find a good buyer and build a relationship with them. All you need is 2 or 3, and then as far as wholesaling goes, man, like you'll just soar, baby. Because finding them is easy. Finding the deals is easier. Finding buyers sometimes not so much. But Tony, since you're right down the road, dude, if you ever need any help finding a buyer for a property,
Awesome.
reach out.
We're
Awesome.
on Facebook, and we actually have a ABM Homes Instagram page, right?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Tony. Did you get it answered?
Yes, it was perfect. Thanks, you guys. Love you guys, man.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate you coming on with us.
You bet.
Randy's a DealMachine member.
Awesome. Hey, Randy.
How you doing, guys? I don't know if you guys can see me. I just arrived here in Carlsbad, San Diego. I'm doing a Fortune Builders wholesaling boot camp tomorrow.
Woo!
But yeah,
Cool.
so my question is mailers. Long story short, I actually got mentorship with David Lecco. So I got one of the 5 people that have the mentorship.
Cool.
So I guess we were talking on our last meeting of how many mailers to put out. So my question to you guys, for 3 months, how many postcards approximately did you put out to see some results?
So we're very fortunate in our area where we have a much higher return than other areas do. So like I know some guys out in Texas, their return is it's very, very small compared to ours.
Yeah.
So I think on any given month we're doing 3,000 to 5,000.
But we didn't start out that way. We were sort of scared, and we sort of started slow and small, but we didn't get the return that we wanted either. And
Yeah,
we found increasing our mailers gave us more opportunity, and it just started coming back tenfold, really.
Yeah, it did. I think our ROI with marketing is about 2%, right? So maybe I didn't say that right. So we get phone calls on about 2% of what we send out. Some of those are, hey, if you do, is there a for sale sign in my yard? And I'm like, no, but you know what, dude, if you got anybody that you know that's in a bad situation, they've got a property they need to sell, hey, please, like, give them my number.
Exactly.
But I don't know. Basically, if we have 200 mailers going out, that equates to one deal for us. So that's about the best math I can give you on that, man. Like, I honestly don't track that as tightly as I should, because that's not something that I enjoy doing. So I just decide not to spend a whole lot of time tracking numbers.
Well, one thing I will add to that too, Randy, is at first we were only sending 7 touch points, and we increased it because it seemed like we were getting to the end of that 7th time that we had sent the mailer, and we still hadn't reached the client, or the seller, hadn't responded. But we increased it because we didn't want to just spin our wheels. So I think we did what now? 12 touch points. And it seems like we either get a response on 5 or 7 or 11 or 12.
Yep.
So it may be that, yes, it does take a little initial investment on getting those mailers sent out, but it's definitely worth it, because I think we would have missed a lot of opportunities if we hadn't have increased, because we had a lot of callers that will say, hey, I've been getting your postcards for a year now. And I just kind of kept throwing them away, but now I'm in a position where I really do need to get rid of this property. And, you guys were the first ones I thought of, because I keep seeing your mailers every month, so it does make a difference.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason we enjoy such a good return rate, is because, one is we use different mailers, so we don't send out the same mail.
No,
there's the first,
customize it.
right? There's
DealMachine.
Yeah, absolutely, on the fly, and keep in mind, we built over $1 million in free and clear real estate in over a year using one of these. Like, I never once got into a laptop running this business, which is kind of, it's kind of crazy actually to think about it. But so our first mailer is kind of an introduction. Hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. We're very honest. We're upfront about it. And then after that, it's just a reminder every month, like, hey guys, like, hey, we're still interested in this thing. Situations change, so timing is a big thing. And then our last card is like, look, shame on you. We've been mailing you for a year. You haven't called us. If you don't want us if you don't want us mailing you, you need to call us and let us know to take you off the mailing list, okay? Because I don't want to spend my 50 cents on you if you don't want it, okay? But then the last one says, very specifically, like, hey, we're done mailing you. We appreciate your time. Please keep our number, but if you really want to sell this property, you need to call us now,
because we won't mail you again. So
that is awesome. And I didn't hear that earlier because I was on the freeway, but do you guys combine it simultaneously with cold calling or anything, or just mailers?
Very little cold calling. The only time that we'll do that, and I'm very comfortable cold calling. Like, that's not a problem.
I'm not. That is his strength.
I will go. If I will knock on your door, I will find you. Look, man, I was a recruiter.
Like a stalker.
Yeah. Hey, I was a recruiter for the U.S. Navy. I ran recruiting operations for the US Navy. Dude, like, if I want to find you, I'm gonna find you. You know what I mean? So
I love it.
Usually if I'm going to spend the money on a skip trace, it's because it's a property that I really want, or I'm trying to connect the dots and find the right person to make another deal happen. But yes, we do some cold calling.
But not much.
But have I ever sat down with a list and just started, banging down it? No. Am I going to do that soon? Because I can stop working on all the flips that I've got and the rest of our team is built? Yes, absolutely.
And we've even talked about even hiring somebody to do some of the cold calling for us, because it is time consuming, and we're both very active. We have 4 kids. Our son just graduated. Our second born just graduated. Basically, with the U.S. Army.
Yeah, he's a cool kid.
Yes.
Our oldest in college, and then our younger 2, our daughter's fixing to start driving, and our youngest one is getting ready to start high school. So I mean, we're busy. You just,
Yeah.
we don't have time to sit and make phone calls a lot of times.
Some of the portions of our business we haven't grown simply because we were afraid we couldn't handle the volume, and we don't want to handle. We didn't want to take on more than we can do correctly. Like, I don't want to do a half-ass job.
No.
I never did a half-ass job, and maybe I'm certainly not going to do it in my business. You know what I mean? So anyway, Randy, I'm going on and on. We're out in the woods here, dude. Like, we took you on a trip. I hope you got what you needed, Randy. Thanks.
No, you guys are more than helpful. Thank you very much, Brian and Michelle. Keep it going. Appreciate it.
Right on, brother. Take care. Good luck.
Thanks, Randy. It's really good to see you. Have fun.
Good to see you too, Elise. Thank you.
Daryl, what is up?
What's up, Elise? Thank you very much.
I can't see anybody's face, man. Like,
Nobody. Does
all
anybody
this.
turn on your camera, Daryl?
Does it have to be me?
No, it doesn't have to be you. But
Hey, look, if you're sitting on the couch in your drawers or the bathtub or whatever, like, it's all good. By all means, leave it off. But like, I ain't afraid of no shower cap. You feel me?
With candles lit.
What's your question, Daryl?
So give me 1 second here. I wrote it down. I just want to make sure I get it right.
No, you gotta go to the end of the line now, man.
Stop it.
So what do you guys have as a monthly marketing budget? And it is a two-part question.
Okay, so first question, what do we spend in marketing? I think, I don't know, like
It's right at 2,400.
yeah, 2,500. And then we've got, other expenditures. And those are, now that I'm out of the Navy and we can do this full time, we're in the process of building a rehabilitation team in 2 different areas. So right now it's been, me and, my brother-in-law, Kenny, and we've pretty much been doing most of the work on our flips, and then hiring a couple of outside people here and there. But it's been very difficult to find reliable individuals to do that. So we're trying out a few new team members. If they work out and they're on board, then I would say we're probably going to quadruple what we spend in marketing, at least for the next year or 2. And then we're probably going to be in that spot like where we want to be and start kind of tapering off a little bit. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
It definitely does. And I guess it's good to hear you getting your hands dirty. Hats off.
I'm not afraid of hard work.
No, but it's like, they're like, no, I don't, man. And there's some enjoyment out of it, and I really like spending time with the team. But every day I'm swinging the hammer, dude, I'm losing money.
Yeah. I'm actually a contractor in Miami, and that was a very quick lesson I learned, that there's just saying the contractor that swings the hammer makes no money, because if you're swinging the hammer, you're not doing other things working on the business. Question, not to take up too much time over here.
Sure.
So how do you guys filter out your leads? Like, obviously you guys go driving, you get 1,000 leads. Obviously an easy filter would be a house that just sold. What other filters are you looking for, or criteria in your leads to kind of knock out some ones that'll probably be a waste of money kind of thing?
Yeah, ones that have just sold recently, you can see when it last sold. With DealMachine, it shows you when it last sold and how much it sold for. So, I mean, if somebody just sold the house within the last 3 months, or bought the house within the last 3 months, they're probably not ready to sell it, or get rid of it, unless it's one of those that really needs a lot of work and they just bit off more than they can chew. But typically that's one of the filters we use is, the date sold, last date sold. We try to look for absentee owners, but we have sent for owner occupied and bought several owner occupied. So I think that's really the only main filter.
Can I show them the thing? You show that? All right. So check it out, right? So like when, I don't know if you can see it, this thing's my camera's
it's a little
blurry.
it's a little but I appreciate it.
I'll do this. You guys pretend that you can read the phone, So, it tells you that thanks, man. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So it tells you, right here, hey, this one was sold in 2014. It'll tell you how much that it sold for, if the tax office has that right, or whatever the case is. And then like there's a little button on the bottom, I can push comps and I can say, okay, well, yeah, those comps seem accurate. Like that house is probably worth 80 grand. and they only paid, 60 for it 4 years ago. They got some equity, whatever, sure. I'll send them a mailer.
I will say the comps part is a new feature or newer feature, and I love that. It saves so much time. So thank you.
Yeah, so I have a question for you, Miss World's Greatest Real Estate Agent. So from a real estate agent's perspective, are the comps on this thing like pretty close to the comps that you would find on MLS? Or?
So
Well,
So way better than like Zillow, Realtor.com, that kind
oh,
of.
heck yeah.
well, I appreciate this. Let me just tell y'all, we didn't prompt them to like give a full tutorial here or anything. This is
We
very
just really enjoy using DealMachine, and it seems like it's
And
helped us.
for the all of the how many are on here? 139 people. I'll say it here, and maybe I'll tell Benji to take it out of the replay. But we are getting MLS data
Nice.
for the app. We're actually getting a whole bunch of new data points, Daryl, that you'll be able to filter through for your properties.
Look, he's getting excited.
I don't have an exact time. Do not ask me when it's being launched because it's a process of it's like taking a ball of yarn and trying to sort out all the data to go in the right place. But we are getting that. So I actually really appreciate that question that you just asked, Brian, because I would like to know if a realtor who sees the MLS, if our comps right now are comparable.
They are good comps. They are good comps. And when I found, and the ones that I have sort of like, well, I don't know if that's really accurate. And I'll go and look on MLS and find comps to support, the value that we're thinking. And it is in line with what DealMachine had as comps. So from our experience and my experience as a realtor, it is very accurate. So, Daryl, I hope we answered your question. Did you all right? I apologize.
No, I appreciate it. Anything you want to add to that? More specifically, where you guys are monitoring? I mean, we're in Miami, Florida. It's definitely a very competitive, tough market. Our rate of response, 2%.
Dude, if I were you, I'd be playing down at Kendall. If I'm being honest. If you want some real advice there, it sounds like that's what you're asking for. But Kendall's where it's at. If you want to make some money. Here's what I'll say, dude. Like, one thing we learned very quickly in this business is like we had to stop chasing all the shiny objects.
Mm-hmm.
We had to pick one thing that we were good at, and then when we got good at it, we got good at another, and when we got good at that, so on and so forth. And that's how I think that we were so quickly able to scale, along with having great tools to help build our business.
Right.
So yes, if I'm doing if I'm setting up a campaign on here, or one of my deal finders adds 200 or 300 properties in a day, which is great. One is I'm sending them $100, you know what I mean, or a 20 for gas or whatever. But I'm not mailing to houses that sold in the last year. I'm just not. I'm not going to mail to houses that have less than 60% equity. I'm just not. It's not worth our time. And I'm probably not. I'm starting to learn like what corporations own what, and certain corporations like I just won't mail to.
Because it's a waste of time.
But it's dude, it's a learning curve, man. It is. Like, there's really no magic recipe for it. What works in your market isn't going to work up here, and vice versa. So you'll get a feel for it. Just go for it. We did definitely experiment and try some different things until we figured out like what properties like we really wanted to target market. So that's really about the best answer I can give you, Daryl, and I hope that helps.
Daryl, I will say too, we have I've talked to some people who are actually in Miami that use us, and it is the volume of leads. Like you'll have to add more than what Brian and Michelle are adding, and the marketing budget will have to be bigger, and you'll definitely want to do at least 7 to 12 touch points if you do marketing. But filtering wise, I would definitely not leave out owner occupied, or because you need leads it's the numbers game again, where like you just need the leads. And so keeping it niche, but also if you're already driving for dollars, you already did the best filter out of anything. And so I would do that in like the sale by owner. And honestly, I wouldn't overthink that too much because you've already done the legwork on qualifying a lot of them.
At least I think you're 100% on spot there, because there definitely are times where like a house changes hands and it looks like it sold, but it didn't because somebody inherited it, and they may not even know that they own it, man. So you putting eyes on, dude, like that's the best filter you can get right there.
Nice. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're currently putting out anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 mailers a week, 7 touch points. We haven't hit 12. that's maybe something we'll talk about. But
We
no,
don't do it in the beginning,
So are
but
you-
you can grow it, you know,
Yeah.
just do it gradually. Increase to 10 and then increase to 12. You know, you don't have to bite it all off at one time.
Yeah.
And you can reevaluate too when those campaigns end, then just seeing like what was the conversions on those and who called after on which step that they were on in the campaign, and then maybe just seeing.
Did you say, Daryl, that you're sending mailers out to these folks every week?
no, I mean, we have like 20 batches or close to 20 batches or slightly over 20. And on average, it's 1,000 a week. And then every other week is 2,000.
Dang, bro, like I
That
feel
is
like teaching me a
Ton
class.
of mailers. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're
Daryl,
getting
what plan are you on for us?
there. I think we're the second highest level. I'm not good with labels, titles.
That's okay. That's all right. Well, we've changed it.
I am.
So
I am married. I know that.
we have Dakota here with me, but he is the customer success manager for the annual professional plans, which is the tier you're on, and helps with like coaching and stuff too. So if you ever think about doing that, you'll get his support as well to kind of help with those things.
Yeah. We had our 90-day with Rochelle, and I who our lady is now. She just got assigned to us. But no, it's been a great program.
Okay,
Awesome.
good. Crystal will take great care of you.
Yeah, there you go. Crystal.
Awesome.
Well, good luck with everything,
Yeah,
Daryl.
man.
Thank you so much. for
Hey,
coming
give
and
them help. There's a
call us.
lot of neighborhoods down there need help. Go get
Yeah.
some. Go get
I
some.
wish you much success.
Hey,
Hey, guys.
we do rapid fire. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
All
All right. Yes,
right, Daryl, take care, buddy.
we're gonna get into rapid fire. Dakota, tee us up, my friend. You have the
Yes.
cue. You have the
I do.
questions. Let's get them
I
out.
know he's ready. He's like me. He's down there. He's jonesing. It's like, let's get it
Ready to
on.
go. Ready to go. Yeah, we've got a lot of great questions in here. One that I think is a great one here is what mailer style has been most effective for you? Do you use a specific size, handwritten versus postcard, or a specific template as well?
Great question. So we use the postcard style,
Mhm.
and we decided on like 4 different ones. We started with the ones that DealMachine kind of provided, and just plugged and played our stuff in there, dude. Like nothing special. That's it.
Just keep it clean and clear. Simple is
Yeah,
key.
simple. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. And something my dad always said. It took me a year. I thought it was dumb, but he was teaching me something. Like seriously, it's a thing.
Awesome. So have you guys found wholesaling to be increasingly difficult with the market the way it is and such a strong buyer market?
I wouldn't.
We haven't seen a lull, but it does seem to, as the market shifts, I do feel like wholesaling will become a lot bigger, and it'll be easier when the prices come down and there aren't as many buyers in the market. And don't you agree, babe? Like,
So I don't know, like that's an interesting question. Here's how I feel about it. There's always going to be a need for wholesalers, right? But there's going to be a need for honest, hardworking wholesalers that are doing their own research, man, because there's a lot of junk out there now, man. Like everybody has heard a podcast or been on Bigger Pockets or YouTube or whatever, and they think they can do it. And honestly, they can't. I don't think it's going to be a problem for us because we've got a reputation and people know us and we've built relationships in our communities. For other people, are they going to see problems in large areas and stuff? Sure, but there's always going to be people that amassed a lot of real estate and they want to retire and they quit caring about their properties. There's always going to be, shitty landlords and shitty tenants, and we can help people out with those problems. So I don't think it's going away, but I think that if you are a wholesaler, you better get good at it.
Awesome. That's an awesome answer. So another question we have here is, do you guys do the flips yourself? And if not, how do you find a good, reliable contractor? Seems like that's the biggest challenge.
I think we addressed that well ago.
Yeah, man. They're unicorns, dude. Go get one.
Yeah.
Like we've been through a few. We haven't had much luck. So yes, I get off of my big old ass every morning and go out and work on houses. Like that's what I do right now. Now we're coming to a point where like we're not going to have to do that anymore, and we can kind of evolve to the next stage of our business. But it's like I said earlier, like we got the problems we prayed for.
That's right.
Absolutely. Awesome. Another question we have here: what currently does your team consist of, employee wise?
Well, right now it's Brian and me, and then we have 10 drivers.
Something like that. We got 2 or 3 drivers that are really active. We've got our our vice president of maintenance, Kenny.
Our brother-in-law.
Yeah, we've got a couple of good buyers. We've got attorneys in 2-3 different areas, 2 specifically that we trust a lot. We're very important. We've got our hard money lender lined up, so like we don't have to ask anybody else for money. We built that relationship. We've made a lot of money together, and so we trust one another enough to kind of keep growing each other's business. As we're coming up, and that's kind of where we're at now. So next step is building a rehab team, but I need 2 of them. I need
because we're in different areas.
Yeah, and I need my Kenny not working on houses anymore. I need him supervising other people that are working on houses. So, it's an evolution. Team's got to get bigger. Team's going to get bigger, but those that get on board now are coming with this.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Another one that we have here. Question was, what are your best practices with the DealMachine app? This person is new to investing with their wife, and they both have full-time jobs, so it limits them to weekends. Any tips on finding areas with the higher distressed houses or higher chance to find good wholesale properties?
The best advice I can say is make a date night and go driving.
Yes, drive for dollars.
Drive for dollars.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Boom, you're so hot. Gosh.
That's the best way to do it, to find those neighborhoods. That's literally, 11 properties that we just bought. We were driving through a neighborhood. We were actually on our way to meet a possible client in another neighborhood. And with Brian, having the ADD, he said, "Oh, this looks cool." And so we turn off in this neighborhood, we drive around, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, this is a jackpot. We found 11 houses." We would have missed it if we hadn't been out driving. So get out, make it an adventure.
Make it fun, man.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
Yeah. For sure. That's awesome. Awesome advice. I do want to go back real briefly because you guys did mention your drivers. We had a question on what your pay structure is for your drivers, how you guys compensate them.
That's very end.
Yeah, I spoke with David about or David and Josh, I think, about they were having more success. So that's neat. The guys that run the company actually use the product. That's cool, right? But they have better return on investment, paying people by the hour, I think is what they were saying. Basically we just pay commission, and that's good for some of them. Most of the people that drive for us have jobs, they're either in the military or we're related to them or whatever the case is. Most of our drivers, that we've tried out before, they go for a month or 2 and they just kind of fall off,
We don't pay a commission.
Well, okay, not commission, our finder's fee, whatever.
Right.
Whatever the legal thing is. But yeah, that's just how we've done it. It's worked for us thus far. Are we gonna have to change things up? Yeah, absolutely. But for us, it's not, we don't have to hit 10,000 people a month, to make money at this point. Like, the machine has been built. It's running.
Machine. Yeah.
If we feed it, it will feed us. And our goals are still to, get more properties, but like,
of course,
we've got a thing in mind where like when we hit it, enough's enough. So we're meeting our timelines, we're reaching our milestones.
We're a little ahead of schedule, which is
that's cool.
encouraging.
Never a bad thing, right?
No, especially with being down for a couple of months with COVID, we were really worried that
slowed us down so much.
Yeah, we were worried that we were going to sort of backfall, or what do you call it, where you sort of backslide. That was the word I was thinking. But honestly, we kept the conversations open. We kept making
Mhm.
the postcards kept going out. That's where it was really nice that we had DealMachine, who was
Yes,
constantly mailing
yes.
for us when we were down, and I was in the hospital, and so if we had just been doing it on our own, doing the handwritten letters, we wouldn't have done
Yeah,
any of
we
those during that
Yeah,
time.
we
So
would have been blown out of the water.
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, it was nice that it could be set up that way, and that it was easy to do.
building a good support system and having that support system is key, because you're gonna have times where you're gonna have a lull or you need encouragement. And that's one of the things that Brian and I found, with Facebook groups and these podcasts, get out there, ask questions, encourage each other. I mean,
We have a
we're
lot
all
of
going
people-
up together.
a lot of
Why
people
not?
reaching out to us
Yeah.
now, which is cool, man. I love sharing it, man. It's awesome. Like
Yeah,
any knowledge I've got, I want to pass along. 'Cause It
Absolutely.
doesn't go with me.
absolutely.
Okay, rapid fire. Let's go.
Yeah. So another question here. How have you automated your business, right? I mean, I know you send out mailers and stuff like that. And how much time do you invest weekly in investing in your projects currently? And then what are your specific KPIs for your marketing as well?
Okay, so KPIs, like again, like I'm not a huge number tracker, so whoever asked the question, I'm sorry, but I can't like honestly answer that question for you.
Yeah.
What I can say is that we're doing very well. Do we got $1 million sitting in the bank? No,
But we have $1 million in
because
assets.
we have all those millions of dollars out there working for us and making us more dollars now.
That's right.
Are we buying 4-wheelers and new sports cars? No.
Mhm.
Are we buying a lot of houses? Yes, and that's
Yes.
good, right?
Because that's gonna make us more money for the
Yeah.
future, residual income.
So KPIs, I don't know. What was the other thing? ADD on you, sorry.
Yeah, no, the other part. So how have you automated things and how much time do you invest weekly?
Okay, so I suck at systems. We are working at getting more systems in place because we have to kind of expand to the next level. Like it's here. It's not coming. It's here. Systems are something that we've got to put into place. But honestly, like when people call, I answer the phone.
Mhm.
And then it all kind of goes from there. Like, so I think we've discussed it several times, the parts of the team that need to be built so that I'm not out working on houses anymore. There's some things that need to be automated, yes, but we've done it ourselves this far.
Well, and I work, as a real estate agent with McKinsey Real Estate here in Ashboro. And it's
There you go.
well,
There
I
you
mean,
go.
Jenna and Brandon are awesome. And that was one thing whenever I went to my Vic and told her that my husband and I have a wholesale company, she was like, great, market it, encourage, and very encouraging. So shout out to them, but also, I spend most of my time with my real estate and still, try to make at least a 2-hour commitment daily for following up, checking on our properties, following up on leads, making sure that I didn't let anything fall through, like the administrative duties, like I said before, where that's my strength, whereas Brian spends a lot more hours in the week going out and doing the physical, repairs and checking on properties. And then even with teams that we're building, he's still going and checking on, he'll go from one property to another property, see what the status is. So
I like being cheap. I like delegating.
yeah.
That's my that's my thing.
Hopefully that answers your question.
I love that so much. We are up on our hour. We want, and I want to be, I know, and I want to be so respectful of you guys because I really appreciate you guys coming on. This is your 3rd time, I think, that you've been on. Yeah, and so I really, really appreciate it. Please, let's all give a big thank you to the Austins for being on here. The Austins for being awesome. Also, AJ's gonna put in the chat where you guys can follow them on social. Please do so. Also, do remember that Michelle is a wonderful real estate agent in North Carolina that can help you. But again, guys, thank you so much for being on here. We really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who logged on today. We love you guys. And if you, again, there are a couple of things that AJ put in the chat that are also on our link in Instagram. There's the ebook, there's the sign up for 7-day free trial. things like that. We want to make sure we give you a bunch of resources as you're starting up in real estate investing. Any final words, Austins? Anything you'd like to tell the people to close out the evening?
Don't be afraid to take the leap. I mean, it was scary getting started, but if we had just sat on the sidelines and watched everybody else, we'd be wishing we were where we are today. So just, take that leap of faith, have faith in each other, have faith in what your dream is and your goal, and work for it. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
as simple as that.
Absolutely. I'll say this, man, like if for those of you especially like that are on the fence, right? And some of those of you that have been in, abusive relationships, or you've lived the negative kind of lifestyle and you're thinking like, man, I don't deserve this because somebody told you like for part of your life that you didn't. They were wrong. You do deserve it. You do deserve to be treated well. You do deserve to have the lifestyle you want to live. You do deserve to be rich. And I mean rich in mindset, not necessarily just money. Okay.
Right.
So if you're asking yourself also that like, hey man, like, can I afford this? I'm telling you right now, you can't afford not to, right? The most valuable currency that you have is your time. Money's nothing. Money's a tool. It's a hammer. It's a nail. It's a wrench. It should be out there working for you. You got to change your mindset from you working for your money to turning your money into working for you. And I'm going to tell you that this vehicle right here, this DealMachine thing, it's what did it for us, man.
Yeah.
And I'm
absolutely.
telling you, as an active duty military member, chief going out doing all the crazy things, working 80, 120 hours a week, busy real estate agent, 4 kids. If we can do it, working full time, raising kids, and still amass over $1 million worth of real estate in a year, dude, if we can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
So get off the fence, get off your asses, get out there, go help some people. You got this.
He's so
You can do it.
blunt.
I love it. I love the bluntness. You know what? In this day and age, we all see through the BS. You got to just say it. So
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah, hey everybody, thank you for getting on. Seriously,
Yeah, thank you so much.
like that's a lot of people on there. That's a lot of good questions. Wish we could have got them all answered. Sorry. If
Yes,
you keep
send us a message on one of our social media platforms.
and if you keep bugging the DealMachine team to get us on here, we'll keep getting on here. But
We'll keep bringing you on. You know that. I feel bad asking you so much, but I will keep asking now.
Absolutely.
I love it. One of these days we need to do one where I can get into the feels, get a tear going.
Oh gosh.
Don't you dare, Brian. I will. When you started tearing up earlier, I about lost it. I was like, no. So anyways, all right. Everyone have a lovely evening. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks so much. Appreciate
Bye,
the support.
all.